Good morning, everyone. Welcome, John Mertz, Custom Craft Contractors. How are you today?
I'm great, Shelby. How are you today?
I am doing really well. So, John, I wanted to have you on this little episode here to talk about what's going on in the construction world and what you're seeing in regards to what people are doing in their homes right now because they've been stuck at home. So, tell us a little bit about, first, why don't you tell us a little bit about Custom Craft Contractors and how long you've been with them and what they do, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, thank you. Well, Custom Craft Contractors was founded in Lansdale in 1982 by George Foring. And George and his son Michael have built upon their reputation for quality and craftsmanship and customer service over the years. And it's really become a well-established and well-regarded firm in the area. I joined Custom Craft a little over a year ago. And the reason why I joined the company is because I'm friends with George, and George and Michael are looking to grow upon the business that they have well established. And they're looking for some more hands to help them out because they're growing.
Well, and you joined at a time right as COVID was hitting last year.
Yes, it's both ironic and interesting, I would say. The COVID pandemic, as the pandemic stretched out, I think the first 6 months, people weren't quite sure what was going to happen and when the pandemic was going to end. But as it stretched out over a year, it got clear that, we're in this for kind of a long period of time. People were kind of in their homes for a long period of time. Their kids are homeschooling. You have both one or two adults working from home. So it's really kind of gave people an idea of, what it's like to be in their home for that period of time. And I think some people were looking at opportunities to improve their home because they're seeing it so much. I think the other factor is that people weren't really able to do big things that families would normally do, like go on vacations and things like that. And I think part of it might be the challenging real estate market. It's very easy to sell a home right now. It's challenging to buy a home because of the inventory and because of the competition to buy a home. So some people are deciding to make upgrades. So our industry in general is very busy right now. There are certainly challenges with materials as far as lead times and things like that, and prices for certain types of materials. And those are things that we have to factor into our planning and our discussions when we're speaking to homeowners and planning projects.
So what type of work are you solely interior? Do you do some exterior? Do you do additions? Tell us a little bit about what types of jobs you have.
Okay. I would generally say that we do any kind of residential remodeling and light industrial remodeling. A couple of the projects that we have going on right now, we do have a project where we're putting an addition on a home for an in-law suite. And that's another category that shouldn't be overlooked is, people who want to age in place. And also people who have, certain, accessibility needs that need to
Right.
be addressed, for people who want to stay in their home also. I would say that our wheelhouse, if you will, or bread and butter is kitchen and bathroom remodeling, but we virtually do any sort of residential remodeling. Yeah.
Now, is there any project that's too small for you?
I would venture to say that something, sometimes like a small laundry room project, many times what will happen when we're in a discussion with a homeowner, one of the things we talk about before we come into the home to start construction is, okay, we planned this project, we're going to remodel your kitchen, your bathroom. Is there anything else that you want to look at while we're mobilized to work in your house? And those are kind of things like that, where smaller projects like that can be included into a larger project.
And what's the territory that you cover?
Generally speaking, I say 30 miles, a 30-mile radius of Lansdale, and we are right near the Lansdale exit of the Northeast Extension. So kind of a 30-mile radius of that is where we would like to stay. Yeah.
So during this whole pandemic, any really interesting projects that you did that are different than normal, or any great stories that you've seen in the past?
Well, one of the interesting projects I think is one we're working on right now. There's a lady who's a yoga instructor. It's not her full-time job, but it's something she does a lot and she has a great passion for. And she, during the pandemic, she's doing them via Zoom. And she really wanted to create a nice space for her to teach her classes. She's kind of doing it in her family room right now. So she wanted to create a space in her basement, a very nice finished space. We're going to put an egress window in the basement wall to bring some more natural light into the space. And it's going to be a very nice space for her to do, yoga for herself and to teach. She does, I think, some classes for her township, some classes for her neighbors, and for other people. So she really wanted to have her own really nice kind of a Zen space for that. Yeah.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
John, if someone wanted to reach you and contact you for a estimate, how do they go about doing that?
You can certainly reach me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. My email address is jmertz at customcraftdbr, which stands for
Okay.
designbuildremodel.com.
All right. So John, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Let me ask you before we end, is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask you that you'd like to share with us?
Well, just real quick, I'm sorry. There's a couple key things that people tend to be concerned about when they're thinking about a remodeling project. One is the disruption to their home, the budget for a project, and the timing. And these are all things that we discuss thoroughly. When we come into a home, we're going to be at the home in the home from day one until the day the painter leaves, and then you're ready to move in and use the space. Budget is something we talk about from the very beginning of our discussions, even as we're going through design and development and as we approach construction. We're going to continue to be transparent about, where the budget is going or where it looks like it's heading, because we want to have an open communication about that, because, it's not to anyone's benefit to have a surprise when you're going to the point of signing the construction contract.
Well, and it's important, especially with the cost of materials and how it's fluctuating right now, that communication is key. It
Yeah.
really is.
And one of the biggest questions, or one of the first questions I always ask a homeowner is, why are you doing this project? It's very important to consider, typically certain home remodeling projects are a substantial investment. And you really want to think carefully about why you're doing this project and what the goals are that you want to achieve from your project.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. John, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this week.
Thank you,
Guys, I've
Shelby.
seen John's company's work. I've seen, at business networking events where you've presented to us and it's quality stuff. So guys, give him a call if you're thinking of doing a remodel in your home. And I look forward to talking to everybody next week.
Thank you, Shelby. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.